Hello. Happy Wednesday.
Wednesday, October 7th. Already a week into October. I can't believe it. It's flying by so quickly. Mel and I said this last night to each other, actually. We said, time just seems to be going by so quickly lately.
Yes.
And it's funny because we said, remember when we worked, at jobs? Mel worked at our local college here, program development, and I was a full-time professional firefighter. And time didn't seem to go by as quickly as it does now.
Well, I used to always look at, okay, another hour or another 3 hours before I can go home or whatever it was. And we never have that feeling
No,
here.
we
It's
look
like,
at the clock.
oh my gosh, we got to go home. A little guy's coming up off the school bus soon.
Yeah, so it's a good thing, but time is just flying incredibly fast. Anyway, that's kind of a side note. But with all that being said, the subject today.
Well, first we have to say, but welcome to the Investor Mel and Dave show. We should introduce ourselves in case somebody's just having to be new.
Remember I used to do the intro?
I know. We
What
should
happened to that?
I don't know. One day, okay, I'll tell them what happened. So
I forget
day,
now, actually,
Dave
yeah.
didn't feel like doing the intro, so we didn't do the intro.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, and then we
forgot about it.
Forgot it. Are
Wasn't
you gonna do it today? Are you gonna try to
I
wing
don't
something?
even, I don't remember what I used to say. It was something like, "Welcome to the Investor Mel and Dave show, where we talk about real estate, cash flow, return on investment. Today's subject is now the time to invest in real estate." It was something like that. It was my radio voice.
I think entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Something like, but yeah, that was good. That was good. Did you like that? Give us a thumbs up.
let me know.
Give a little.
Let me know if you like the
love
radio
to,
voice.
to Dave. If you like the.
If you
you
do-
might get some thumbs down if we're asking for feedback.
Honestly, though, if you do like the radio thing, then I'll do it every show. But if we don't, then I won't.
There we go. We welcome feedback.
Yes.
Awesome.
So today, well, actually, a couple of things today. Next week, actually, on the 14th. So a week from now, Melanie and I are closing three deals. So I will be very excited next week.
Yes, we've been working again. We've been working on some of them for a while, right?
A while, yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So 3 more deals during COVID, which kind of is the topic a little bit about today, right?
Yeah, so let's get into it. So is now the right time? Someone's calling me. Cancel that. Is now the right time to invest in real estate? People are asking us that. Are you guys taking a pause? What's going to happen? And I want to reflect back on 2008, 2007, right? People always look back and in their hindsight, they say, oh, I wish I would have started back. If I was around 2007, I would have, bought in so much real estate, and then in '08, like that hindsight mindset. And it's like, well, no one knew what was going to happen. So kind of like right now, no one really knows what's going to happen. We're going to look back years down the road and say, oh, I wish I would have done this and this. But that's hindsight's 2020. No one has a crystal ball. So is real estate, a good investment right now? Is it a good idea? Mel and I have 3 points we want to go over, and then we'll hop into the Q&A. But obviously we're real estate investors, so we're going to be pretty biased. I think it's always a good time to buy real estate. And don't want to look back 5 years from now and say, oh man, in 2020 I should have done this and that and the rest, right?
And I think it's a good time. It's always a good time to buy real estate when you do so strategically and wisely, and not just doing whatever without giving any of it, some thought on your strategies and all that. And we'll be talking about all of that exactly today.
So again, this is our new YouTube channel. I would love if you could give us a like, if you could subscribe. What's the other one? Notification, so you'll know when we post videos.
Hit the bell, Dave.
Because we post every Thursday a new YouTube video. So tomorrow, 25 hours from now, there's going to be a YouTube video being posted. The other thing as well is start asking your questions below, because when we get to the Q&A, put your questions below, please, 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 and we will. That's our favorite part, is the Q&A.
Yeah. Awesome.
So the first out of 3 is pivoting, okay? Is it a good time to invest in real estate? Yes, it's always a good time to invest in real estate. And why should you pivot? And what we mean by this is kind of rolling with the punches, right? That expression. If you're a real estate investor, whether you have a rentals already or you're looking at purchasing rentals, you need to pivot right now. And what I mean by this is go towards what works. Okay, so we're for example, Melanie and I are buy and hold long-term multifamily rentals. Okay, we're gonna pass these on to our kids one day. COVID, recession, whatever it is, bring it at us, because we're not selling the buildings. We're gonna hold it for ourselves for the next probably 30, 40 years, and then give it to them. So it doesn't matter what the market is doing.
Yeah, so pivoting, it kind of depends where you're at in your investing journey. Are you just getting started? Do you own a lot of properties? Are you Airbnb? Are you a flipper? Are you like Dave and I and buy and hold? So what's your strategy? And based on that, it might be something that you may either do a little bit differently. So it doesn't mean you have to pivot completely, but you might have to pivot a little bit in order to make sure to set yourself up for long-term success here.
Yeah, and if you are into real estate already, comment below how you're pivoting, what you're doing to roll with the punches, let's say.
Yeah, you're a new investor. Do you know,
what are you doing to...
what's your strategy?
I'm very curious to see. Now, okay, so when I think of this coming up right now, people are saying that who knows what's going to happen in 2021? Who knows what's going to happen? I was going to say later in 2020. We're already October. We're already in quarter number 4.
Yeah.
But who knows what's going to happen? So let's take, for example, because this is there's usually a time limit, not a time limit, but there's usually a timeline. So let's say you are a flipper, okay? How do you pivot? You were going to buy an underperforming building, make it nicer, renovate it, and sell it, okay? So let's take that example as a flipper. How can you pivot in this scenario if the market takes a dive, right? And what if? Well, instead of selling it because you bought it at a certain price and you were expecting to sell it at a certain price, what if you rent it out? What if for now you decide, hey, I'm going to Airbnb this. I'm going to find a tenant for the next 12 months, right? That's pivoting.
Maybe more of a long-term Airbnb as opposed to a weekly or daily Airbnb. And that's the thing. And even if it's a plan A, B, and C. So ideally, I want to, let's say I purchase a property. Let's use these numbers, $300,000. I'm going to put $80,000 in it. So for $380,000, I'm going to sell it for $500,000. That's what it's going to be worth. That's my plan A. I'm a flipper. I want to keep flipping, for example, and that's great. But what if, all of a sudden, fast forward, let's say 6 months down the road, and now all of a sudden you're not going to get it appraised for $500,000. It might only be worth $400,000, where by the time you pay your realtor fees and your lawyer fees, you're like, well, now I'm in the negative. This was all for nothing. So in that case, you would not want to be flipping. But exactly what Dave said, maybe you have that extra plan. Maybe you simply Airbnb it. Maybe you make it a rental where you have your tenants live in there if you're okay with holding it longer and kind of seeing what happens.
Absolutely. And even, let's say you are an Airbnb person. Maybe you keep doing that because they're talking about, maybe there's a second wave and everything. So maybe you Airbnb. If it dries up again, maybe you sign a tenant. Or you go longer term. Maybe you rent it per month. Maybe you rent it to someone for a year. But real estate is never a bad idea. So again, in this scenario, whatever type of real estate you do, just pivot and just make it work for your circumstances.
Yeah, and if anyone's wondering, okay, what about buy and hold? So we're buy and hold, we buy multifamily, none of our own money, no joint venture partners. That's what we do. And are we pivoting? Well, I mean, Dave and I, over the past 2 months, it's going to be over 100 apartments that we've purchased. So we're continuing to buy. We're very aggressive. And in fact, there's a lot of opportunities in there. But we are, being a little bit more careful. So that means when we're doing our numbers, we're planning a little, more carefully, right? And we always did, but even now, more than ever. So interest rate, for example, right? So, okay, what if the interest rates go higher than we're paying now? Then we're able to get funding for now. Then we're adjusting for that. And that's part of our calculations.
And you know what, Mel? That's actually a perfect transition piece. The second part is cash flow. So that's exactly what Mel was saying is kind of what we want to touch on. Cash flow. If the interest rates do go up, that's obviously going to affect your cash flow. So, and I see cash flow in two different sections. The cash flow that you are making right now might reduce, right? Let's say it was Airbnb and now you need to pivot, obviously, and go towards long-term rental. Well, it might be less cash flow every month. So I want you to start getting ready for a little bit less cash flow. What are the possibilities of that? Like Mel said, the interest, rents go down. No one does Airbnb, or people don't rent the Airbnb anymore. So that's the one side that I see when I say cash flow. The other thing is truly right now, purchase assets that have a lot of cash flow. So you have that insulation because like Mel said, if things do decide to change interest wise, vacancy wise, well, at least you're somewhat more insulated because you're purchasing assets now that have a higher cash flow and that allow you to have a little bit more wiggle room staying on the positive side as opposed to being on the negative side of, you want to stay in the black or the blue as opposed to the red. I forget that saying.
Wouldn't it be green?
I don't know. I know when the red is bad, it means you owe money.
Red is
means
bad.
negative,
I don't know.
yeah.
I see green as cash flow. And also, I had a point I was going to just make, and I got distracted.
In regards to the cash flow, I think it was probably about the interest or only buying places that.
No, it was not that. It was, but thanks for trying to help out there, Dave. It was about multifamily. That's another way around it as well. That's why we like multifamily properties, because again, if I own solely a house, and it's rented, and something happens, and my tenant, for whatever reason, whether it's maliciously or not, can't pay rent right now, then I'm stuck. If I have a 4-plex or a 10-plex or a 20-plex and one of my tenants can't pay rent, then at least the cash flow from the other apartments, the other units, are making up for that as well.
Yeah, I agree. So cash flow, yeah, make sure you're buying the right assets now more than ever. Obviously, you always want to buy the right assets, but yeah, now more than ever, the cash flow is very important. Again, guys, start putting your questions below for the Q&A. We're gonna answer your questions. That's our favorite part when we do these lives. So don't be shy. Comment below. And I kind of want to see what people are doing too. Again, if you're pivoting and what your cash flow situation is or that type of thing, start letting us know. I'm very curious to see what different people are doing.
Yes, agreed. Awesome.
Number 3.
Time in the market. And this fits perfectly with what we do, right?
Yes, absolutely. And this is kind of something I touched on earlier, is the time in the market. And everyone always tries to time it. And we've talking recently, I can still remember one person I talked to, or you talked to, and I overheard the conversation on Zoom about 3 weeks ago. And it was someone that was looking or possibly thinking about joining our mentorship program, right? The Action Family. And that's why we have Action Taker coffee mugs. But this person was so concerned about timing the market and, well, do I want to enter now or do I want to wait till later? Maybe I wait till if the market is so hot right now, if it does take a dive, then I'll jump into it. And Mel was bang on. And I've heard so many people say it. And I used to think it was a cliche saying, it's not timing the market, it's time in the market. And it's so true. So I want you to know that, obviously, is that it is so true. So whether it's now or in a year from now, the market is the market. You can't control that. No one can control it. Just like the stock market, it can be a bull market or it can be a bear market. Right now, the markets are hot all over the place, and they might cool down. Such is life. Okay, there is no controlling that. However, like Mel just said, in the last 60 days, we've purchased. We're closing in a week from now 3 other buildings, which is a 23, a 14, and our cottage, our lake house, or anyway. And so it doesn't matter when you're time in the market, it's time in the market. And I'm kind of going off for Mel, I'm not really, but like I said earlier, is our strategy is buy and hold. So whether the market is up or down right now, it does not matter. Yes, I want our buildings to always be worth as much as possible, because yes, that can affect refinances and it depends where you're at. But we're going to own these buildings for another 50 years. So this is such a little...
And that's why it doesn't matter, because we're looking at down the road. Again, we're not flipping. We are not selling in a year from now. We're holding on to our properties, right? And I mean, even one of them, we thought maybe we'll sell it, maybe we'll hold on to it, and because we're doing renovations in it right now, and we'll see what happens. And again, we have the plan A and B. Okay, if if the market's hot, maybe it makes sense, and maybe we'll liquefy it. Otherwise, we're just going to hang on to it, because real estate, yes, it might go up and down, but it will continue to go up, right? I mean, look at if you look at statistics
Yeah.
from decades and decades, right? People always need food, water, and shelter. And that's why I love real estate, because it is a necessity. People need a place to live, especially multifamily. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity.
Yeah, and actually, this makes total sense. And I forgot about that example, Mel. Pivoting. We don't usually sell places. We don't like selling or buy and hold. But right now, we renovated a building. It's a triplex. It's 98% complete. The realtor's probably going to go take pictures maybe Friday or next week on Monday or Tuesday. Like I said, we're not people that like to sell. However, we're pivoting. Right now, we were going to get that fully rented, refinance it, take out the equity. But, because we're only going to get 80% loan to value on that refinance. Do we take advantage right now that the market is so hot? Do we sell the asset, right? Do we explore that? So again, it's pivoting. Even us, we're kind of stuck in our buy and hold ways, but the market, it's a crazy place right now, right? Things are hot, so why not explore? And then that's one more option. So again, we're also pivoting with different options that we're doing.
I think that's the important thing as real estate investors, is to be prepared, be educated, be flexible, and always have more than one plan, because you may think one thing and all of a sudden everything changes. And we've seen that. We've all seen that, how quickly things can change, and being able to adapt.
Yes.
And get through whatever situation that comes to us, we're able to face it.
100%. So if you like what you're hearing, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Again, tomorrow a video comes out at 1 p.m. So I don't want you to forget about it. Tomorrow's going to be another good one.
Yes.
Hit
the bell, get notified, because sometimes we do these. Well, not sometimes. We often do lives. So that way, when you hit that bell, you'll get notified. You can join us to for a little chat.
Exactly. And we have a very different mindset. We love debt. We love leverage. We love 100% finance deals. We solely own all of our over 200 units. There's no partners. There's no joint ventures. So we have a truly unique way of doing things. So if you like what you're hearing, again, please subscribe, because we talk about it all the time, our philosophy and our mindset on how to buy buildings. So
yes, the only person I share with is this
us.
guy here.
And a lot of people say it's not doable. Yes, it is.
Everybody told us that when we started, because that was something we didn't want to do, and we didn't have any money. So we didn't want partners, and we didn't have any money, but we wanted real estate. How did we do it? That's what this channel is all about.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right.
Let's take a couple questions.
Yeah, let's do
today.
some Q&A. So again, guys, if you have questions, please post them below. I'll let you read the first one, Mel.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, this one. This one's the first one.
Oh.
How to start as a real estate investor, or how to start real estate investing. Tenzin. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly. So Tenzin, honestly, if I could go back to 20-year-old Dave and 20-year-old Mel and say, how should we have started investing? What I would have done back then is I would have looked for knowledge, right? Education, knowledge, a mentor, so that I could truly understand creative financing and get my mindset right. Because when we started, we thought it had to be our own money. We thought small, and we didn't understand how to leverage the banks and other people's money.
Yes, and we actually have tomorrow. That's our YouTube video tomorrow. Is about how to get started in real estate and things that, and it's young. It doesn't matter if you're young or not. But things we wish we knew essentially when we first started off in our earlier days that would have just exploded our growth. So I would do that. So check
your question's timely.
So there you go. So it's almost like we created the video. Just
yeah. So make sure you watch it tomorrow, 1 p.m.
Awesome. Chris has a question here. Long-time multifamily investor. I did joint ventures with partners on 55 units.
Nice.
Looking to pivot and go on my own. What brokers do you use for the lending?
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. And what I would suggest is that, and congratulations on having the 55 units, and good for you for doing the joint venture thing. Again, if people want to do that, that's fine. We have nothing against joint ventures. It just doesn't work for us. But from your question, you want to go on your own, so maybe you don't want to do the partnership thing anymore. Who knows? But that's completely up to you. What I would say, Chris, is you're going to want to find institutions that obviously allow for secondary financing or creative financing. If you're in Canada here, the Big Five, Big Six don't typically do any of that. In the States, the Big Four don't do it either. So don't waste your time.
It's having those conversations,
Yeah.
and making sure, depending which route you want to go. And I see here, Valley love the idea of no joint venture partners, and that's awesome. And the reason, I mean, for us, it was that there's zero conflict, other than here, right? Poor Dave. But there's no conflict, right? There's no other personalities, and I'm not saying there's always conflict. A lot of people are doing it without conflict, but again, is there possibilities that there's conflict, that people are aligned with their goals, or not even that? Actually, we had a call from somebody who recently. In our mentoring program, who had said that they did a joint venture and the couple separated, so now they had to sell or something like that. So these kind of situations, that's how we can avoid it.
Sorry, go ahead. No,
go ahead.
What worries me, and okay, I'm totally off. We're talking joint ventures, and again, if you want to do them, that's fine. But what always worries me with the joint venture is that. And yes, there's corporations and there's legal structures, and they have you sign. Excuse me. They have you sign. I forget what it's called. The partnership clauses and all that. Where, and I looked into it before, but like there's shotgun clauses and there's first right of refusal. I'm not going to pretend to know all that because we don't do it. But what worries me is, what if your partner, what if your joint venture other half does something and it affects your deal, right? Like, let's say they make bad financial decisions and then they go bankrupt on their side, right? Like, that's going to affect your deal somehow. Or if they have a lawsuit. Oh, I'm going to cough. I got something in my throat, yeah.
Or if they have a lawsuit.
But that's what worries me. Sorry, I'm back.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take over this.
No, I'm back. No, I'm back. But that's what worries me is what happens, right? You can't control that. You have a hard time controlling things that happen to you.
Yes.
Now I feel like you're double exposed, and what happens to them? Let's say they separate and there's a bitter spouse. Like, that worries me. You know,
with our conversation with our lawyer when we had spoken with him, we were exploring
we
doing it.
We met on a Saturday with him because he said this is going to take time. I don't, I'm going to make time for you on Saturday. So we went in for 3 hours.
Yes.
We literally sat there and we spitballed scenarios, and because we wanted a contract that would hash out everything, iron out everything, so that there would be no conflict. And he said, "Yeah, I can write you an 80-page contract that no one will ever want to sign, and we still won't touch on everything."
Yeah.
And that's when it was like, wow, okay, that because think about how busy we are and how many things that go on in our life. And then what could affect deals or what could be potential. So that's honestly our fears with the joint ventures. And it's not even
the reality is that we also now that we know we're able to grow just as quickly, and we don't have to share any of the pie, right? So
that's
we can
the
grow
thing.
just as quickly, yes, because essentially, and for those who are like, Mel, Dave, I don't get it. What do you mean by this? Essentially, it's buying properties using none of our own money, no joint venture partners. So we're still using other people's funds,
Yes.
but instead of sharing the actual pie, so saying you get 50% of the appreciation, for example, I get 50 or 40 and 60 or whatever the agreement is, I get to keep 100% of all that. They get an interest, but it's 100% ours.
Yes, and that's what I love. Again, you're still paying these people. You're not paying them in equity or ownership like a partnership or a joint venture would be. You're paying them with interest, right? So you're still, yes, paying them. It's just a different type that eventually you will pay them back. And then the ownership and equity does not get touched.
It's great for long-term wealth as well, right? Generational wealth. That was something that was very important to us, was having that long-term generational wealth. Here you go, 3 kiddos. Here's our portfolio. It's all yours.
Awesome. Chris, okay, based out of Ottawa. Awesome. So we're North Bay, Ontario. We're about 4 hours west of Ottawa. Want to get out of joint venture partners? I will DM you for some broker names. I also have money for investments to lend out in my RSP as well. Cool. Yeah, so send us a message, Chris. But yeah, for the broker stuff, to be honest with you, your best bet is to start asking, institutions. When you call for mortgage brokers, don't waste too much of your time. Ask a couple of questions. Do you do secondary financing / creative financing? Do you accept second mortgages or owner financing? And then number 2, up to what loan to value? Do you allow it to go up to 100%? Because some will say yes, but then they only allow 60 or 70%. And that leaves, 40 or 30% remaining on you to pick up. So I would start doing that, Chris, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, send us a message.
And for RSPs, absolutely, that's one of the strategies we use, right? We're always using other people's money, whether it's
The building we're in.
Yeah, the line of credit, RSPs, owner financings, variety of all that. So we love making it a win-win, where we, of course, always ensure to pay back our lenders early. So
Yes.
awesome. Valley, how do I get educated on buying multifamily homes with OPM, other people's money, that cash flow? Yes, cash flow. Of course, you absolutely, even at 100% finance, should be cash flowing.
Yep.
So you want to set yourself up for long-term success here. You want to make sure the ratios make sense, so that way the financial institutions keep saying yes. So we do have a free masterclass. Maybe Raphael, you can put it in the notes. It's www.bot12in12.com. So again, I'll repeat that, www.bot12in12.com. It's a free masterclass that we show you how we bought 12 properties in 12 months using none of our own money, and the same strategies we're continuing to apply, of course, as we continue to grow our portfolio. So make sure to check that out.
Yeah, BOU. So yeah, www.BOUGHT, so bot12 in12.com. So bot12and12.com. Make sure to put the www, otherwise it does not work. Free masterclass. Yeah, you get a free masterclass. It's about creative financing. It's Mel and I that discuss it. But yeah, that honestly, I don't know why anyone would do it any other way. You can buy deals with none of your own money. You can cash flow from day one, otherwise don't buy it. And then the other thing is, when you pay everyone back, you end up making infinite return on investment. So to me, it's a no-brainer, but to everyone, to each his own, right?
Yes, and of course, there's so much more that comes into it, right? Having the right lenders, having the right team members, having your right structure, having the right property management company, making sure you can pay them back, having your exit. Oops, it's like jingle bells.
I'm hitting the mug, you're hitting your necklace.
Making sure you have your exit strategy. So there's a lot, of course, to learn about it. But the master class is at least going to give you an overview of what that looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. Gives you a intro to creative financing.
Yes, we're actually going to be doing a live session as well.
Next Thursday.
I don't have the link quite yet, but keep an eye on our stories, whether on Facebook or Instagram, and you'll be able to connect to that and join our live session there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday night.
Yep, and we're going to be talking about creative financing there, as always, right? That's us.
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
That's what we love. That's what enabled us to say goodbye to our jobs.
Yes, right? And that's the thing. It's doable for anyone. That's what allowed us to quit our jobs in our 30s.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, Raphael, one more question. Valley, do you guys offer one-on-one coaching? And Valley, okay, I love this question because I get excited about it. Is honestly, no, we have the mentorship program, and it's group learning, it's peer learning, which I find is the best for adult learning. Now, to be honest with you, we get this question all the time for the one-on-one, and we don't offer one-on-one anymore. And here's why. Hear me out, okay? I find the one-on-one, we're not doing, like, let's say Valley, we gave you one-on-one, okay? We're not doing you justice by doing one-on-one training. It's not enough. The group mentoring and training and coaching, whatever you want to call it, is so much more powerful. And what I mean by this, and there's a couple of different points. What I mean by this is, Valley, you ask your question. Again, we answer the questions within 24 hours in our Action Family Mentorship Program. You ask a question, Melon.
That's the thing. You're still getting all your questions.
Yeah, you're still getting us one-on-one.
Yeah.
But it's in a group setting. So let's say you have a question, Valley. Mel and Dave, how do I do XYZ in this scenario? What have you done? Boom. We're going to answer you within 24 hours.
Mel and Dave, here's my cash flow matrix that we give you, by the way, because it shows the exit strategy. Would you buy this property, right? Okay, well, provide us with the details. We'll be able to look at it. These are the types of things. So you're still getting all your questions answered.
Plus, you're going to have other people in the Action Family who have had different experiences than us. They're also going to answer your questions. So that's a double, right? You're getting us one-on-one, basically, and other people are answering. Now, the part I probably love equally, I guess, is, Valley, let's say, you're in the group, you're in the mentorship family, someone from another province, another state, another, country asks a question, or even from your neck of the woods, it doesn't matter. They start asking questions. that you never would have thought of. And this is the part that I love about the group mentoring, because we're only going to answer what you ask us, right? But if someone from somewhere else asks a question about a scenario that they're having, that A, you haven't encountered yet, that B, you didn't think of, we're still going to answer that. So you're learning from so many different other questions and other experiences from people throughout North America. So that's the part I find, when I say it won't do you justice just one-on-one, that is the part that is so much better, because it compounds and you're learning so much more, so much faster, so much quicker. So
yeah, and the results speaks for
I knew I'd go on kind of a little,
He gets excited. And the results speaks for themselves. Like on Instagram, for example, we feature Mentee Monday. Every single Monday, we feature one out of our Action Family Mentoring Program who bought properties, and you'll see it very often. It's within 1 to 3 months. They're buying properties, they're getting the results, they're learning from us, they're learning from our 120 videos, they're learning from our weekly live sessions, they're learning from our questions, they're learning from other people, they're learning, expanding from the network as well, right? Your network is your net worth. So this is a program that really involves everything.
Oh, cool. Valley, I'm in Aurelia. Awesome.
There we go.
So we're what? We're 2 hours away from you.
Yeah, we mentor people across North America, but that's amazing. We're very close, so awesome. So if you're interested in finding out more, just send me a DM afterwards, and I can link you to schedule a call with one of our mentorship specialists who'll be able to go even more in detail with you about it all.
Whenever I hear the word Aurelia, my brain immediately relates with Weber's Burgers.
Oh.
Anyway.
So wondering, where are you going with
No,
that?
it's because now I'm hungry today, so now you got me thinking of
I was
Weber's
thinking,
Burgers.
Like, what, did we stop there to shop
No.
or something? Like, I don't think so. I think
Thanks,
it's more
thanks,
fun.
Valley. Now I want a Weber's Burger. Okay, so Ravi, should you get an inspection from a general inspector or have individual specialists come in for electrical, foundation, etc. for a multi-family unit apartment building? Yes and no. This will depend. So for example, let's say and this is really preference, okay? I'll just use current experiences that we've done in the last month or two. So the fourplex that we closed in, I think August or so, the fourplex, I had a general home inspector go through, because I'd gone through, I wasn't too worried about some of the stuff, and I thought, because I think it was $350, $400, let's say ish, and I knew that they would do a general, obviously their general inspection. So, and then I knew that if they found anything, I would go further with a specialization, like an electrician or plumber, etc. But for the bigger buildings, like the 50plex, the one we're closing, the 23 unit, the 14 units that we're doing, there's some bigger, older buildings, right? So I want to make sure. So when our team went in, I had our maintenance team go through, and they were doing kind of the general inspection. I had the electrician go in because we're dealing with big panels. We're dealing with a lot of power. If I need to rewire, it's going to be massive amounts of money. So we brought the electrician, we brought our whole team in. We brought our maintenance team to do the general. We brought an electrician to look, obviously, the wiring, the electrical, to make sure it wasn't knob and tube, to make sure it wasn't aluminum, right? We brought the plumbers in to make sure that, the stack, right? We want to make sure, and funny enough, we have a YouTube video on all this too.
Yeah.
As I'm doing, I'm like, hey.
I'm like, okay, I gotta let them know.
Oh, like deja vu, right?
It has a 7 checklist.
Yeah, you get a free checklist, actually.
There you go, you get a free checklist. So go check
out the video after, yeah.
It's called something. I can't remember exactly
I forget
what it's called,
too.
but you'll see it. It's us with a big inspection.
Yeah.
Exclamation.
And you get a free checklist.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for the bigger buildings, I'm making sure the plumber's checking out the stacks. I'm making sure they don't see any, because that's expensive, right? Those old cast iron stacks, to change them out to the, PVC or ABS. And then we had the roofer, because it's these massive flat roofs, which are tens of thousands of dollars to replace. So you see where I'm going here, Ravi? It depends. That fourplex, you can see the roof from the ground. It's an A-frame roof. I'm not worried about it. I have them do the general. These massive buildings. And I'm not saying you can't get a bunch of trades to go in on smaller buildings either. That's your choice. That is your comfort level and prerogative. That's just how we deal with it. If I was worried about that fourplex, then I would have brought in the entire, cavalry to come in and check it out. But as maybe at the beginning, maybe you want to do that. But Mel and I are getting used to seeing things. Okay, now I know I got to get the plumber to check that out. But yeah, watch the video, download the free checklist, and that gets you started.
It's a great one even to bring with you when you go to places and kind of check them off before you even,
reminds you.
It reminds you, and before you spend all this money going forward, to do that as well.
Awesome,
great. All right. Well, it's lunchtime for us.
Yeah,
we're going live with the Action Family. If some of you are part of the Action Family mentoring program, we will be seeing you in about 20 minutes.
Absolutely. And guys, again, if you like what you hear, if you like our philosophy, if you like our mindset, if you want to continue, getting more info from us, again, it's completely free content right on our YouTube page. Please subscribe. Please like the page. Get the notification. Our video's coming out in just over 24 hours tomorrow. Mel and I are going to keep posting videos every week. The other thing as well, please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, any other social media. It's always Investor Mel Dave. Mel and I's life mission is to help people. So
create time, location, and financial freedom through real estate investing.
Absolutely, it's doable. So again, to recap, the best is it still time to invest in real estate? Heck yes.
Yes, and if you've missed some of our live sessions, they're always on our podcast as well. So even when if you didn't get enough, or you want to keep learning when you're working,
when you're driving, or whatever it is, right?
Whatever it is. You can listen to us on our podcast, The Investor Mel Dave Show. So, all right. Time to wrap it up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Valley, for making me want that Weber's burger now. That's all I'm going to have in my head the rest of the day. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.